I went up so high that I could see the whole neighborhood from up there. And I was going up inside this tunnel of light. Before the car went under the transporter, I had already left my body. My spinal cord was nearly torn apart. I have two near-death experiences. My first experience was in the summer of 1987 when I was about 8 years old. I was playing badminton, and a shot I made caused the ball to get stuck on top of the wall. I tried to bring the ball down from the top of the wall. At that moment, suddenly everything turned dark. I didn't see anything at that moment. I only saw my body lying stretched out on the stairs, and I was looking down at it from above. It was a 3 to 4 meter drop. Gradually, my height from the ground was increasing. I went up so high that I could see the whole neighborhood from up there. The view I had at that time was very different from the buildings we usually see. My view was such that even behind the buildings, things were visible. They seemed transparent or glass-like. But they weren't made of glass, and I was able to see through them. When I reached a very high altitude, I started to feel scared about what might happen. What if I fall? What will happen then? I looked above my head. There was a spiraling ring of light, and I was going up inside this tunnel of light. When I reached a certain height, the tunnel vanished, and I felt a heaviness and saw that I was being pulled towards the ground. I had lost that weightlessness I had before. After a while, I re-entered my body. When I opened my eyes, I saw that it was still daylight. That is, a considerable time had not elapsed since I had been unconscious. But what happened to me, in terms of time, was very long. That day when I recounted the incident to my parents, they were both angry and surprised. It is somewhat challenging for those who haven't experienced it to believe. My parents were more concerned about my physical condition at that time than the incident. When we went to the hospital to figure out what had happened, the doctor was surprised that with such force impact, there were no fractures or injuries to my head, as my head had hit the stairs. However, my left eye was affected and weakened. Now, onto the second experience. In the winter of 2006, I was planning to travel to one of the Persian Gulf countries for university registration. I had already reserved a taxi to take me to the airport. I was very happy because the weather was sunny, even though it was winter. On that day, one of my friends contacted me and learned that I was supposed to go on a trip. He insisted on driving me to the airport himself. I mentioned that I had already made reservations and couldn't cancel them. After much insistence, I finally agreed. My flight was scheduled for 11 p.m. As the afternoon approached, I saw that the weather had turned cloudy and snow began to fall. As per our plan, my friend picked me up and we set off. It was the first time for both of us going to the airport, and we weren't familiar with the route. We got lost about 2 times searching for the main exit of the airport due to the snow covering the signs. The third time, someone had cleared the snow, and we finally found the exit. The snow had reduced our visibility. A little further ahead, I said to my friend, "Do you see anything unusual?" There was something like a car in front of us. As we progressed, a car transporter had mistakenly taken the wrong path and stopped in our way. When it braked, the car couldn't stop, lost control, and collided with the transporter. Before the car went under the transporter, I had already left my body. I witnessed the collision scene and how it happened, and then people rushed to see what had occurred. The truck driver also came out to inspect the situation. My friend had also gotten out of the car and was shocked. I could see all these events unfold. I didn't feel anything, neither cold nor fear or worry. I was only concerned because my friend had borrowed his father's car. I was worried about what he would say to his father. People were calling for help, but I didn't know whom to help because I didn't know that the person in the car was me. I thought I had been thrown out of the car. I wanted to help at that moment, but no one could hear me, and I couldn't speak. After a while, I moved upwards. When I reached a height where I could see the whole scene and people below clearly, I felt a heaviness and was pulled towards my body. After re-entering my body, I saw people trying to pull me out of the car. In that accident, 3 of my lumbar vertebrae were fractured, and currently there's a plate in my spine. My hand was also completely fractured, and there was bleeding. In comparison to the first experience, I didn't see a tunnel this time. It was just an out-of-body experience. When the ambulance arrived and we went to the hospital, the surgeon who operated on my back said that my life was hanging by a thread. My spinal cord was nearly torn apart.